Thank you. May I first just thank the panelists for affirming the topic and advancing it, because I think that's precisely what this engagement was about. How do we enter this discussion and move it forward? And you've helped us already to do that as an Institute for Gender and Development Studies. One of the things that you moved it to is the right to lead as well as the responsibility. And so we've moved into that as well. And from responsibility to transformation itself of a system. Now my question is rooted somewhere in between what Paula and Suniti were presenting to us, which is, and comes out of our experience of setting up and running an Institute for Gender and Development Studies, where there's always been a kind of accountability of gender to a discipline, to an area, to the community we serve. Gender is not just about research and teaching, it's about outreach and delivery and activism. And I'm wondering if implicit in what we are saying, there's not a way in which that transformation we seek in politics is the accountability and building on something that was said already. That accountability that is rooted in what we feel women will bring to politics in transforming politics. Is it that we have a sense of that same undefined nature that we talk about, if allowed to be transformative, will in fact reveal those elements that have still not entered the realm of what politics has been constituted as?
I too appreciated Suniti's notion of systemic overhaul and the fact that this system can grab you by the throat and almost erase your best efforts, your intellectual capability. And therefore, I'm hoping I'm extrapolating, and therefore what is required is not simply the numbers game or even one or two people who are committed to transformative leadership, but a mass of people that are committed to systemic overhaul, even though it hurts. I was involved in another political discussion just on Saturday, and one of the things that I came away with is a strong notion of how the extent to which people fear change. And the fear of change is actually rooted in mistrust. They feel that the system may be inadequate, it may be falling apart, it may be full of holes. But since we are afraid of what may come, maybe we will stay with this patchy system. And then within the patchy system, we have a habit. This is something we love to do. It's almost like scapegoating. We select people, our finest minds. And then you send them into the faulty system. Then you withdraw from the people and you watch the system eat them. And then you criticize. Now there's no way that we can have systemic overhaul using that model. So I value what Suniti said, that unless we overhaul the systems, and that cannot be done by top-level leaders or individual leaders, it is a mass movement and a mass commitment that will allow for the overhaul of the system. The question is how?
And it is the development of party politics. There is no party politics. And party politics would be parties where there were individuals who subscribe to that position of that party, want to vote for that party, but they're bringing to that party all the competence that they have in their sphere of interest. You would have a serious division, a unit that is focusing on education. These are people intimately familiar with the full range of the education system and thinking, if we were in office tomorrow, what do we press, what do we change, how do we get the systems aligned and so on, so that you don't go in there and try to figure out how you're going to do it. And that makes the agents of change, it puts them at a disadvantage. The thing about the PNM is that in the transition from Crown Colony government to independence, that was the party that came into power. And if you are going to be in power, if you stay in power for 30 years, you get the hang of the system. So that even if you're out of it for 5 years, you can come back in and you more or less know the public service regulations, you know a lot of things about government and how it works. You may do it better or worse and so on, but it's a going concern. The agents of change are always coalescing outside the PNM, but they always are supreme disasters when they go into office. And the reason that they are is that there is no party life of real and meaningful work that is going on to equip people to run a government. And that is because the people with the capacity and the capability, that's the intellectuals, the academics, the business people, and so on and so forth, all they do in the party is wait and angle for opposition when they get it. They do not bring independent thought. They do not bring their work. They don't bring the best of themselves. They feel they have to join the party and follow the leader. And that is where we come down to individual responsibility. If you're in a party, what are you doing in that party except working so that if it ever gets into power, it has the capacity of government? We now know for a fact that being in government, winning an election is the easy part. I think if we didn't know it before, we know that now it's easy, right? It's easy. It is government. Right? So what do you do to allow you as a party, having opposed a whole heap of things that are going on, so when you get into there, to be able to change it? And change it in such a way that you could carry the country with you and not be bogged down in the disharmony. For example, if we are saying right now that there are very many badly appointed people in government, right? That there's a lot of party supporters and financiers and so on and so forth. Well, I'm sorry for the next party that win the election if it's not that government. Because you don't have to go in there and move a whole set of people and terminate a whole lot of contracts. And the first thing you're going to hear is race. The second thing is corruption. And you don't even know how to get going past, and you just get stuck. And then before you know it, they don't want to hear you anymore. So there is a rhythm and there's a whatever. It comes down to what are the individuals, where is the party life, where is the party politics that is equipping parties for government.